have Grisel Hernandez, who's a part of Chingona Ventures here in Chicago. She's a fellowship alum, and she is also on the alumni board for Chicago Blend Fellowship as well. Give it up for Grisel.
Hello, everyone. My name is Grisel Hernandez, and I'm a senior associate at Chingona Ventures. At Chingona, we back founders who are rethinking the ways in which we live, learn, work, and transact. Within the firm, I lead our internal operations and invest in what we call future of work companies, those building the tools that help individuals and teams move with better clarity, momentum, and intention. But before I even worked in venture capital, this was already a personal interest of mine. I used to, and still occasionally do, spend entire weekends tinkering on Notion, testing different productivity apps, and just trying to find ways to create my own personal tracking and knowledge systems. That curiosity still drives me today. And throughout all of these experimentations and conversations with founders, I keep coming back to the same question. How do we organize everything on our minds and on our plates in a structured, organized, yet action-oriented way? Let's start with a scene you may know all too well. It's 4:17 p.m. and you just wrapped up a Zoom call that went way over time. You have dozens of unread emails in your inbox, and your company Slack is lighting up across tagged messages and personal messages and team channels. You have to wrap up an investor memo before you head out for the day, and you have to send out a really big update tomorrow morning. But before you can even start, you're trying to remember what decision was made at last week's all hands because for whatever reason, your AI note taker didn't transcribe the meeting. Cal Newport, a productivity thought leader, calls this mental to-do list the hyperactive hive mind, which is this culture of constant pinging, checking, and updating that doesn't leave us much time for focused thinking and deep work. The way that many knowledge workers operate today is inefficient and unsustainable. And if you've ever wished that you could just have a clone of yourself, or 3, or better yet, a world-class chief of staff who could surface your priorities, get your work started for you, and give you back the space to think, be creative, or build your relationships, then you already understand the concept of a second brain. The idea behind a second brain isn't new. In ancient Greece, Socrates worried that writing would make people forgetful. However, others saw it differently, not as a limitation, but as a tool for expanding beyond the limits of our minds. Since then, we've created other more structured ways to organize our thoughts and ideas. Gantt charts, Cornell notes, and mind maps have all helped us see and work through complexity. We've made a lot of progress since then, particularly in the last couple decades when the age of software really took off. In the 2000s, we saw a wave of personal productivity tools like Evernote and OneNote, and team-based project management tools like Trello, Asana, and Jira that helped us connect information across time and teams. And then came another development. In the last decade, a new wave of productivity thinkers repopularized the idea of a second brain for the modern world. The core idea was that your brain is for having ideas, not holding them. Today, with tools like Airtable and Notion, we can build flexible yet collaborative workspaces that act like trusted extensions of our collective knowledge. Suddenly, our digital working environments have become as personalized as our physical workspaces. But even with this, a lot of these systems still rely heavily on our own input. We need to upload the data, update all the records, and just keep the whole system running in check. And this introduces natural challenges to how much these systems can scale, until today. Once again, we're in the midst of a transformation, and this time it's driven by AI. Suddenly, what used to take hours or even days can now be done in seconds, and this is going to fundamentally change the ways in which we work. So where are we going with this? There's a lot of new developments in the space, but I think that the time is now to really unlock the full potential of a second brain. Because not only should your brain not be used for holding information, I don't think we should use our brain power to manually update all these records either. But how do we make sense of all the stuff that's going on? I'm going to share a few frameworks that I use to think about the tools I'm testing out and backing. So this first one's pretty intuitive. On one end, we have these all-in-one solutions that include even pre-AI companies like Google Workspace that now bundle its AI features across all of its offerings. These are powerful because they're integrated by design, but the catch is that getting set up can take a while, and if you ever want to switch, it can be a bit of a hassle to unwind and transfer everything. On the opposite end, we have these modular point solutions. Maybe you use Granola for meetings, Perplexity for your market research, and Gamma for your slide decks. These are often best-in-class solutions, but stitching them together takes effort and cognitive context switching, and the cost of all that integration often falls on you. On the other end, we have this one that can be a bit more subtle, but is just as important. There are some categories of tools that are built to make you as an individual contributor better. They help you keep track of your calendar, your inbox, and write your drafts faster, but it's more of a personal assistant for you. On the other end, some tools are built to make teams better, and they focus on solving complex orchestration and coordination problems. Every now and then you find a tool that's really good at doing both, and that's when you start to see the potential of a collective brain. So as AI becomes this digital connective tissue that's powering our workflows, we're going to start facing a new set of challenges and questions. We're already comfortable using AI for idea generation, memo drafting, and meeting summaries. But increasingly, we're able to delegate even more. And questions like, what story does this financial data tell, are the type that are going to start shaping outcomes and not just outputs. And in order to navigate this thoughtfully, we need to understand calibration. The best tools won't just take work off of your plate. The best tools will cite their sources, explain their reasoning, and know when to act, when to loop you in, and when to just sit back and observe. Because the future of work won't be fully automated, and the true power comes from knowing which approach to take when. There's more energy, creativity flowing into this space than ever before. And to keep up, we need shared context and community. In the last few days, OpenAI released its Agents feature, which is going to allow us to autonomously run complex tasks across our laptops and on the internet. And even in the last year, YC has had over 100 personal AI assistant startups go through its cohort. For the last few months, I've been hosting both one-on-one and group sessions where people share what workflows they're building, how they're using AI tools, what's working, and what's not. So I invite you all to join us during these sessions where we tactically explore how we're using these tools to build the next generation of intelligent infrastructure for ourselves and our teams. In the QR code above, you can also find my contact information if you want to just chat one-on-one outside of the event or see some other writings that Chingona has published in the space. Because the next leap in productivity won't happen alone, it'll happen together. Thank you.